There's a Chick-fil-A worker who is accused of stealing $80,000 in a mac and cheese fraud. It is very difficult for me to say this with a straight face. Welcome to Bad Life, Good Advice. I'm Anya.
And I'm Jen,
We take listener questions and internet dilemmas.
and apply common sense to situations that do not need to be this difficult.
All right. So we are on episode 12.
12. Yeah.
So our general theme this week is Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there.
So for my scenario, basically it's a husband and wife. There's one kid from the husband's side in another relationship, and then they have two kids together, and she's also currently pregnant. Her husband had a tragedy on Mother's Day, unfortunately. When he was 1 year old, his mother passed away on Mother's Day. And ever since then, his family just has not liked the holiday. In school, when they would do Mother's Day projects, he was always giving separate projects. His siblings don't like Mother's Day. And every Mother's Day, he makes a big stink about it and says he does not want to celebrate it with his current wife. She did also note that he will text his ex-wife Happy Mother's Day for their first child and sometimes send her cards. And on top of it, he expects that every Father's Day they celebrate the holiday. And she wants to know if she's being unreasonable because she wants to change things and she wants to start celebrating Mother's Day with all of their children together and him. So, what do you think? Do you have any sympathy for this guy?
No, I don't. That's so immature. If it's that difficult for you, it's that painful for you to deal with Mother's Day because of your mom passing away, then you wouldn't be texting your ex-wife Happy Mother's Day or your ex whatever Happy Mother's Day. But also, you don't have to celebrate Mother's Day. Do it in August. Like make your own tradition. If like there's something that soured the day for you, cool, but then just do something else. The point isn't to celebrate some holiday that everybody has, decided that you need to buy people stuff in this particular weekend in May. The whole point is to show your appreciation specifically for mothers, the mothers in your life. To use that as an excuse to not do anything for your wife is selfish and immature. I have no sympathy, especially since you do expect stuff for Father's Day. I'm really sorry that your mom died when you were one, but I just don't have a lot of sympathy.
I want to say I really like that angle of celebrating Mother's Day on a different day. I love that idea. The thing that irritates me the most about this whole situation is he expects Father's Day. If I were her, I would be calm and strategic. Father's Day is a month later. That rolls around. I would do nothing. And I would also take myself out with the children and just leave him at home. That's my advice for you.
So my only problem, I have two problems with that. One, he might like if you take the kids and leave the house to him all alone. That might be like the best present ever. And two, if you react in a petty manner, you're probably not going to solve anything. If he's legitimately this broken up over Mother's Day, then he needs professional help. And he should not be using it as an excuse to mistreat you.
Okay, I retract my statement. Take yourself out on Father's Day. Give yourself a spa day and make him in charge of the kids.
Yes, that I
That's
agree
what
with.
you do.
Yes, that at least sends the right message.
I think so.
So if you're trying to force a fight because he doesn't even want to talk about it, yeah, sure, do that. And then you can force the fight at least if that's what you need to do. Because I know sometimes you gotta. It's not a good thing to do, but sometimes people shut down. And I don't know if it's good advice or bad advice, but if you can get them to at least talk to you, even if it's loudly, at least you can get somewhere. But it sounds like maybe a third party mediator is the best situation here. Because if he doesn't understand how that's selfish, then I don't know what to tell you. But you can't, either you suck it up and you deal with it for the rest of your life, or something has to change. You have to change. He's got the sweetest deal. He has no reason to change.
The other thing too is I'm a big believer in you can't know what's going to happen to you, but you can have your reactions. So yes, understand it was very tragic that your mother passed away on Mother's Day. The trauma did happen, but the thing that I'm a believer in is you need to take what was given to you and then have a reaction of how can I adjust and what can I do to help myself fix this situation? So I don't know if again that's therapy, counseling, maybe even just trying to do something around Mother's Day or just trying to make a change on Mother's Day to make it a more positive experience for yourself. Because that really bugs me when, don't get me wrong, I have a lot of empathy for people when tragic things happen to them. But at the end of the day, it's your own life, and you can either try to take it and have a positive turnaround, or you can just be depressed and carry it with you for the rest of your life and be really selfish about it. I mean, what's more productive?
Yeah, he's definitely weaponizing his grief a little bit. Maybe you could try to help him reframe it in such a way that he thinks, I didn't get to spend any Mother's Days with my mother, but I could just spend Mother's Days with you. So let's make the most of it. Because you know, like you just said, you never know what's going to happen. If it's affecting your life to the point where it's affecting your marriage, you need help. Because I mean, it's not like it's new grief. This is baked in. This has been stories you've told. And I do think that the way that they handled it when he was a child didn't help, right? Because they said that he would always get to do different activities and stuff when he was little for Mother's Day. And if it was new, I would get that. But by the time you're in kindergarten and first grade, if your mom died when you were one, you don't have a grandma or an aunt you can make the Mother's Day card for. So I think that's interesting that they just always let him skip that kind of thing and they never made him deal with it. I think that's part of the issue now.
So I guess we both agree that you're not the jerk for wanting to celebrate the holiday. And I think that he has some serious issues. And it's not a bad thing to actually seek professional help. Like, it's a really positive thing. I do agree that maybe he should try to help himself a little bit.
Yes. Especially when you get to the point where you have to walk on eggshells around them. Because
Mhm.
again, if it's like a new grief, you get it, right? You give those people that grace and everybody handles grief differently.
Mhm.
But if he's married with kids, he's probably in his 30s. People shouldn't have to walk on eggshells around you. Your wife should not have to walk on eggshells around you 30 years after the trauma. And that doesn't mean it doesn't make you sad. It's so hard to like articulate how to deal with grief, with other people's grief,
I
because
know
it
it
can
is.
become a negative thing and you can let it consume your life and ruin all your relationships. And at some point, like that's on you and that's not on everybody else.
Yeah.
And I don't know where that line is. It's different for everybody in every situation, but it kind of sounds like that this wife is getting to that point. Yes, I agree with Anya. Our advice is he needs help or you as a couple need help.
A tragic event shouldn't ruin the rest of your life. For example, my grandma died around my birthday. And I remember she lived out of state, and my mom flew down with her. And there was some talk of canceling my birthday party. But then luckily, my other grandma stepped in and she took care of my brother and I while my parents were in Florida. And she hosted my birthday party for me. So obviously, I was sad that my other grandma had passed away. Don't get me wrong. And I'm still a little bit sad about it. But at the same time, I've never stopped celebrating my birthday because my grandma died on my birthday when I was 7. And I think this is kind of similar to that guy's situation in a way. Like, he's just going to stop celebrating Mother's Day because his mom passed away on Mother's Day. Sad things are bound to happen to you, no matter who you are, even if you're turning 7 years old on your birthday. But celebrate your birthday, celebrate Mother's Day.
Use the sad times to remind you that there's a reason to celebrate the good ones.
I love that. That's great advice.
Hopefully that helps. For my dilemma for this Mother's Day episode, I found a woman who is about 6 months pregnant, and she and her husband, they live near his family on one side of America, and her family lives on the other side. So for Mother's Day, she wanted to spend it with his mom and his sister and his family. But her mother in law wanted to have a special lunch with only her biological children, her son and her daughter. So the daughter in law, who is pregnant, feels like she's being left out for Mother's Day. Now, to his credit, her husband is trying to explain the situation to his sister and his mother, saying that she feels left out and she's part of the family now, but it doesn't sound like they're being particularly receptive. So, is she overreacting because she doesn't want to spend Mother's Day alone? Because she can't spend it with her mom. Her mom's too far away. So, what do you think?
Oh, I don't, I feel bad for her. I'm only gonna spend the holiday with my biological children. Why? Like, I totally get if you want to spend time with your biological children, but do that on another day, lady. It seems like this lady is just like wrapped up in herself, and I don't really like people like that. Sorry.
So our advice is pick a better mother-in-law. Next. The end. Problem solved.
I just wonder if there's more to this story. Like, has his mother-in-law given her more problems in the past? Are they currently arguing or fighting about something? Is she just a difficult lady? Is it like a money issue where she can only afford taking out her and her kids? But then wouldn't you want to pay for your mother on Mother's Day anyway? I don't.
Right. We don't have any of that information. I have no idea if they get along otherwise. She didn't go into a diatribe about how she never gets along with her mother-in-law, and this is part of a pattern, and she sees this all the time, but that doesn't mean anything. So I don't think you're overreacting for not wanting to spend Mother's Day alone, especially since you are essentially a mother. Once you have a human sitting on your bladder, you can celebrate Mother's Day. That's my unofficial recommendation.
Do something nice for yourself, though, at least.
Hmm.
That's my advice.
I think this is part of the weird dichotomy of Mother's Day because it's called Mother's Day. So the implication is that you take care of your mother, but if you have a spouse who is the mother to your children, your kids aren't gonna, first off, your unborn baby isn't gonna make a card for your wife this year. That's not gonna happen. But it also sounds like she's lonely because she can't spend it with her mother. She just doesn't want to be left out. She just wants a family. And so I agree with Anya. I really feel bad for her. I don't think she's overreacting. But Mother's Day is weird because who do you prioritize? Your mother or a different mother, like your wife? I have an opinion. Your wife. It's always your wife.
But I mean,
Oh,
what's the big deal of just inviting an extra person out? Like,
traditions change. Like, I understand you've always had a particular tradition, but it's gonna be different every year for whatever reason. So traditions are good, but you have to hold them loosely and you have to be flexible.
I don't think you're in the wrong here in this scenario at all. I hope that over time, maybe you and mother-in-law can have a healthier relationship. But at the same time, it doesn't seem like you're the problem. Unless, again, like I said earlier, there's more to the story. It seems like she's the problem here.
Yeah, I believe that you have to put your immediate family first. And once you're married, that means your spouse and your children. And sometimes that means you don't respond to your parents and your siblings the way that you did when you were a kid. And that's just the natural way of it. You're not overreacting. Hopefully, your mother in law and you can get a better relationship going forward. But your husband, he needs to pick you. If she's going to make him make a choice, then he needs to pick you. And she just needs to come to terms with that. You can try some other kind of compromise, but it doesn't sound like she wants a compromise.
That's our advice, is it's really not your fault, and you have a right to be annoyed. And hopefully in the future, your relationship can improve.
You know what? If this mother in law has never had a daughter in law before, she might just have to learn some stuff and it might get better.
Hope so.
Me too. All right, friends. Now we're going on to the segment of things that don't apply to your life, but actually they kind of do apply to your life. You just don't think that they apply to your life. But let me tell you, you're about to learn how they apply to your life. We're talking about parenting and doing it properly. I say jokingly. Anya, can you share the story with us?
All right. This is an NBC News article. There's a Chick-fil-A worker who is accused of stealing $80,000 from Chick-fil-A in a mac and cheese fraud. It is very difficult for me to say this with a straight face.
Theft is not funny.
It's a little funny.
I mean, when macaroni and cheese is involved, how can it not be funny?
The whole story just is weird, okay? A Chick-fil-A employee in Texas was fired in October. Then they go back into Chick-fil-A in November and allegedly pocketed more than $80,000 in a scheme that was caught on surveillance camera. They did over 800 Chick-fil-A mac and cheese transactions onto their personal credit cards and debit cards. And then they returned all of the mac and cheese transactions. So then they were able to receive the money. There was no indication of why this man was let go, but there's so many questions. Like you fire somebody and then he keeps returning back to work, and then that whole month you don't notice anything is wrong, and then he just shows up for random shifts and starts purchasing mac and cheese and then returning the mac and cheese because obviously he knows the register and the systems. So he just keeps getting refunded Chick-fil-A mac and cheese over and over again for Chick-fil-A mac and cheese he never purchased.
I'm sorry, 800 transactions and $80,000.
Yeah, it says
These
bringing up 800 orders of mac and cheese and then refunding them to his personal cards.
Did he do this multiple times? Okay, because otherwise, the way I'm understanding this is there were 800 transactions and he scammed $80,000. So that means for every mac and cheese transaction, it was $100 mac and cheese transaction.
I don't know. I don't know. I guess so.
Um,
Because that would be the math, I guess, right?
yes, I know. I just did it twice. I'm like, that's what? How much does macaroni and cheese cost in Texas? I know everything's bigger in Texas, but how much does mac and cheese cost in Texas, y'all?
It had to have been multiple
Yeah.
orders of mac and cheese per transaction because don't get me wrong, Chick-fil-A mac and cheese is delicious. I'm a fan, but so much mac and cheese. And he only bought mac and cheese too, it seems.
Uh, um, yeah, there's a lot of questions here. Number one, where's your mother? Did your mother
What?
not raise you right? No, I'm just kidding.
Maybe his mother did raise him right, and this person's just a bad seed, okay? Maybe the mother did nothing wrong. Maybe it's like that Merle Haggard song. Mama tried to raise me better. And he just ends up in prison anyway.
Your mom failed somewhere.
The other thing is, usually if you have like a suspicious activity of credit card reactions, like there's banks involved, wouldn't someone somewhere just recognize, oh, there's 800 Chick-fil-A transactions and they're all purchasing mac and cheese. That's weird.
That's so funny to me. Does this happen over like one day? Did this person come in and just do this? Or was this over the
Um,
course of like months?
the article said that this person was fired in October. It doesn't say if it was just one day or if it was many days. But then my guess is maybe it was many days because you're going to have other. Chick-fil-A is a very busy chain restaurant.
Mhm.
So you're going to have other customers. So was he just pretending to work and ringing up other customers and then in between ringing it up himself? I don't.
Some Somebody has to know about this. I can't walk behind a counter and just start hitting the cash register at any retail store. People will call the police after, if they tell me to leave and I don't.
But at every single place, at least in my department, I've always known if someone was fired or quit.
This seems like a massive failure on a lot of levels. But then also, this person sounds like they got pretty instantly caught.
Well, it was, but it said that they were caught in the later part of the month, like November 29th.
I mean, I could see how if you see all the transactions, if you don't literally see it happening, you might have to like wait for the data to come, to print out all the data and like, I don't know if they call their lawyers or something, or they call the police and file a report and then the police look into it. Maybe that takes a day or two,
Yeah.
but it doesn't sound like this took a day or two.
But wouldn't it just be substantial enough to be like, hey, this person was fired and they keep returning to their shift? Just to,
If if they're walking behind the counter and doing it, yes, you would think there'd be somebody would notice.
obviously, this isn't something you should do. I did get a kick
Obviously,
out of it. Thought it was entertaining. This whole situation is so absurd. It's almost brilliant, right? Like, I just wish that this person could put their brilliance into some avenue where they could be successful.
but I am impressed at how bold it is. Yeah, this never would have crossed my mind, but I'm also not a criminal.
So I guess I don't know how this applies to your life.
Pay attention to your surroundings. If an old coworker comes in and starts screwing around with the cash register, say something to somebody. Like this person has probably ruined their life because I don't know the limits, but I imagine $80,000 is a felony level incident. So now, oh my gosh,
Wonder if maybe on the first day they only got a couple $100 and then they thought they just kept seemingly getting away with it, so that they just kept going back. I'm not sure. That's me speculating.
did you think that they wouldn't trace it to your credit card? Here's the thing about credit cards. They have your name on them.
But the other thing is, like, one time I was traveling out of state and I didn't tell my bank that I was. So I got like a text from them being like, did you really buy this from out of state? And then I have to call them and tell them I was on vacation.
Yes.
But that was just one transaction. So like 800 Chick-fil-A
Right?
mac and cheese. What
You know,
what credit card company is this? That's what I want.
wouldn't it be funny if it turns out that nobody ever noticed except for the bank, and that's actually how the person got caught?
Maybe the bank was just doing their job and nobody else was.
Right. Listen, I've worked retail jobs, and like you don't care because you're like, it's not my place. But like, I don't know. I knew the owner of the place I worked at, and he was a nice guy. And if somebody was stealing from him, I would have said something.
I could see if it was just a lazy coworker not really caring about their job. But that still doesn't make any sense to me because if you were the manager and you fired that person and then you see that person come back in the store, wouldn't that raise a big red flag, especially if they're going behind the counter?
Right. And I've never seen a Chick-fil-A with less than, gosh, I don't even know. There's always like a team of people in there. It's not like a
I can,
McDonald's where sometimes there's just
yeah,
two people.
that should be how this applies to your life, people. Be aware of your surroundings.
And raise your children not to steal because now this kid is never going to be able to have a happy Mother's Day again.
Yeah, I mean, the article said it was like a 23-year-old.
I mean, they're not going to jail for life, but it's still pretty rough dealing with that forever.
Yeah, the person really messed up their life.
Well, people see stealing and they're instantly not going to hire you. People are going to see stealing and anything dealing with money, you're out.
Also, the other thing is, which I might, there was no other food transactions, just mac and cheese.
Were they trying to send a message?
Menu. Chick-fil-A has a really big menu, you know?
They
Do the
literally
chicken
have
sandwich at least, or have some
chicken,
variety. That would have
chicken
been
in
less
the name.
delicious.
Don't put yourself in a situation where you're going to ruin your whole life, especially in your early 20s. Oh my gosh.
Try to raise your kids right, but at the same time, they are full grown adults. So sometimes a bad seed is just a bad seed.
I would argue that you can be a really nice person and a really bad parent, and enablers are always the nicest people. Don't enable your children into stealing.
Hypothetically, how much mac and cheese is this?
How much macaroni and cheese is $80,000 worth of macaroni and cheese?
Well, let me Google that. $8 to $10.
$8 to $10. Okay.
Oh, a large Chick-fil-A mac and cheese is between 15 to 16 ounces, often described as a pint.
I'm assuming $10 for easy math.
Okay,
So 8,000 orders times $10 each is $80,000. So 8,000 pints.
but it was 800 orders.
Yeah, but each order was
Yeah,
10
right,
pints.
right. Yeah.
800 pints of macaroni and cheese.
Wow.
And each pint is approximately 840 calories. That's so funny. So if the average person has, I don't know, 1,600 calories ish a day, that's, 2 pints of macaroni and cheese a day. So that's 400 days worth of macaroni and cheese. A little less if you have 3 pints because you're, more like 2,400 calories. But that's like a year's worth of food if you eat nothing but macaroni and cheese. And 2 to 3 pints is enough.
Also, macaroni and cheese is a pretty like thick meal.
You would be a pretty thick human being if all you ate was
Yeah,
macaroni and cheese for a
and
year.
cheese. You
Oh
probably
my,
would. Yeah.
you would be so backed up.
Yeah. It just sounds like a terrible idea.
There is no pro to this plot.
Oh, it's funny though.
It is really funny, except for the one person whose life is totally ruined. So we teach your children math, teach your children life skills, teach your children not to steal, and that's our advice. So what do we learn this week, Anya?
We learned a lot about mothers and relationships and mac and cheese.
I think I learned that I want macaroni and cheese for dinner.
I want macaroni and cheese so much right now.
So if your mother wants Chick-fil-A for Mother's Day, don't wait till Mother's Day because it'll be closed. It's our words of wisdom.
But I think this episode could just be more about how you treat people. And I mean, in both of our scenarios, like the husband isn't treating his wife very well due to his own personal issues. And even the mother wasn't treating her daughter-in-law very well by not inviting her out.
No,
And oh, mac and cheese thief.
I do feel bad for the husband in the second scenario. I do feel like he was trying to keep everybody happy between his mom and his wife,
Yeah, that's
and
fair.
they were still in the thick of that. But hopefully, he makes the right choice and just
Hmm.
does the best he can. So we hope everybody has a really great Mother's Day, and you
Yes,
don't have
we do.
any drama, and you get all the macaroni and cheese you want with none of the felonies.
If you want to find us, you can in a variety of ways. You can email us at badlifegoodadvice@gmail.com. You can find us on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube at Bad Life Good Advice. Any comments, questions, concerns, just let us know.
And until then, I hope you have a good life.
We are not therapists. We're not doctors.
We're not financial advisors.
We're not lawyers.
We're not marriage counselors.
We're not creditors.
We are macaroni and cheese lovers, but I don't think I'm a mac and cheese aficionado.
And I want mac and cheese right now.
We are not sponsored by anybody who makes macaroni and cheese, but we are open to sponsorships. If you need professional help, seek out the help of a professional. Not us.
Until next time, have a good life.